in Massachusetts, right now, there is a strike going on at St. Vincent Hospital in Worcester, Massachusetts, right? That is exactly how you pronounce that. So we got a little video here.
And Doug, add to that, the last union shift is getting ready to walk out of the hospital right now and join these other nurses outside of St. Vincent. This is an open-ended strike, meaning they don't go back to work until they reach an agreement. The hospital calls this strike irresponsible. At issue, though, the nurses union says staffing levels at the hospital are hurting patient care, something they claim has only been made worse by the pandemic. They want assurances the nurses will not be assigned more than 4 patients at a time. Negotiations with Tenet Healthcare, which operates St. Vincent, broke down last week. We just spoke with one of the nurses. Here's what they had to say.
Our biggest concern, as I said, are the patients in the building. The fact that they are not paying attention to our
buffering. I love a good buffer.
Our, straight up pleas. They are ignoring the suffering of these patients in the midst of a pandemic.
The company, Tenet Healthcare, released a statement saying in part, quote, "This strike will only exacerbate divisiveness during a critical stage of the COVID-19 pandemic when we should be coming together to care for our patients and our community." You may have just been able to hear a cheer go up. That means that that last shift has walked outside of the hospital and they're all starting to cheer outside. They're joining the picket line. Tenet Healthcare, by the way, is for profit. They reported $400 million in profits last year. Replacement nurses have been brought in by the hospital and they have now taken over the care inside. We're live in Worcester. Jennifer Egan, WCVB News Center 5.
All right, Jen.
A for-fucking-profit hospital. Isn't that interesting? All right, so let's read the article. More than 800 nurses at St. Vincent's Hospital in Worcester went on strike Monday after negotiations with Dallas-based Tenet Healthcare. So, okay, let me understand this, okay? So, a company, a corporation in Texas is trying to usurp and make money off of a town in Massachusetts. Like, what? What? Like, think about this. The economic system that we live in, what the fuck? Which owns the hospital, broke down. The negotiations broke down, that is. The nurses said staffing levels at the hospital are hurting patient care. Something they claim has only been made worse by the pandemic. They want assurances that nurses will not be assigned more than 4 patients at a time. Jessica O'Malley said she cares for 5 people at a time when she works in the ICU. It's just tough. 5 people want you at the same time. Their family calls, they want an update. It's just tough. O'Malley said they want and update. Come on, like, learn how to fucking type, journalist. Jeez, you got the easy job here. The volume is overwhelming. Our computers don't work every single day. We come to work and the infrastructure doesn't work. So again, think about this. The more patients a nurse has to look after, the less cared for each patient is. Now, again, if the goal is to make money, if the goal is to steal money out of this town in Massachusetts and siphon it over to this big fucking corporation in Dallas, then yeah, that's a good system. But for the nurses that work in this fucking hospital, that's not the system that they signed up for. They want to help people. Right? So when you're juggling 5 different people, let's say some of them has a medical emergency and you get to, like, let's say 5-10 seconds too late because you were with someone else. I've read these stories. Maybe not out of Worcester, but in other places. I've read these stories where nurses are overwhelmed by the amount of patients that they care for, that some have died because they were 10, maybe 15 seconds too late in responding and they had a medical emergency. Right? This is a huge fucking problem. Nurses should not be overwhelmed. They shouldn't be, like, mentally exhausted. They shouldn't be dealing with technical issues. They shouldn't be doing all of this for so many different people because, again, if the goal were to prioritize the health and safety of each patient, you would maybe get 2 nurses a patient. But no, the goal is not for health and safety. The goal is to steal money from as many cities in America as they possibly can and kill people in the process. That is the goal. So we have another video here.
Look
at this dumb fuck. Look at this stupid idiot. There you go. So let's keep reading. The Massachusetts Nurses Union, or rather Association, said the nurses voted in mid-February to authorize the open-ended strike. Nurses who worked the overnight at the hospital ended their shift and joined the picket line. The hospital said qualified replacement registered nurses are fully oriented, trained, and on units taking care of patients. Like, that's the thing. Look at this. The company in Dallas that doesn't even live in this community, to them, it's not their uncle. It's not their grandma. It's not their brother or their cousin in the hospital. To them, it's like, oh, fuck. They really want to get us. They really want us to raise their pay a little bit. If they can hire a whole slew of replacement nurses, right? If somehow that's something they're capable of doing, why can't they just add them to the current staff roles and pay them proper wages? Right? If their demands are that they're overworked and underpaid, and they have enough money to just on the drop of a hat get a whole new staff, why don't they just merge those staffs, pay them living wages, and let them have the infrastructure that they need to take care of the people in the hospital? Maybe? Nah, no way. Quality is the cornerstone of everything we do here at St. Vincent and our community, blah, 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 blah. Shut the fuck up, bitch. Jackson said the blah, 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 blah. I don't give a shit. This is a strike for the safety of our patients and our community, said Nurse Merlina Pellegrino, co-chair of the local bargaining unit in the Massachusetts Nurses Association. We are sad to see that Tenet holds so little value for our patients, yet we are resolved to do whatever it takes as long as it takes to protect our patients, as it is safer to strike now than allow Tenet to continue engaging our patients every day on every shift. Endangering, rather, not engaging. The planned strike comes as tensions between the hospital and the nurses union appeared to be increasing. In a letter shared with the media on Friday, Jackson alleged who gives a fuck about that dumb bitch? The CEO is a dumb bitch. Who cares? All right. But anyway, solidarity with the strikers in Worcester. Don't cross the picket line. Obviously, I mean, you know, if you need to go to the fucking hospital or whatever, I mean, you know, it's a little bit less leeway there, but. This is one of the things that, like, you have to understand when it comes... I am, like, this blanket is stuck on me, and it's uncomfortable. This is one thing you have to understand, is that, think back to when there was this government shutdown, and I think in 2018, I believe, there was a government shutdown. And do you remember what made the government reopen again? It was airline workers going on strike. Right? When workers in these crucial industries, let's assume every grocery store worker unionized throughout the country and went on strike, society would be pretty fucked within a couple days, if not within 24 hours. Right? So what you have to understand is, right, it's like, especially with these right-wing goofballs, like, I'm gonna get my guns and fight against tyranny. The guns. Right? Fucking, there's a reason why guns are so all over the place. It's because the people in charge of this country know that having the citizens have guns is no threat to the country. It's no threat to the leaders. They're just going to kill each other, right? And that's going to make it harder to unionize. If you really want to fight tyranny, what you would do is form a union at your workplace. That's fighting tyranny. We need a general strike in this country, and that's something that will take many years to build up, but I do think it's possible. Anyway, so solidarity to those in Worcester.